Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. The U.S. Department of Commerce recently released its retail sales data for September, revealing a month-over-month increase of 0.4%. This follows a modest growth of 0.1% in August. Economists had anticipated a 0.3% rise, meaning September's figures exceeded expectations. However, it's worth noting that the last week of September was impacted by hurricane weather conditions, which disrupted retail operations in some areas. Analysts suggest that without this disruption, the retail figures could have been even stronger. Some forecasters predicted that the effects of the hurricane will not only dampen September's numbers but also lead to weaker retail data in October. As we look ahead to November's retail data, Wall Street is closely monitoring these consumer metrics to assess their potential impact on the Federal Reserve's interest rate policies. Additionally, the U.S. Labor Department reported that the number of initial jobless claims fell to 241,000 last week, down from 260,000 the previous week. This indicates a robust employment situation in the country. The Wall Street Journal noted that the retail sales figures align with positive employment data, suggesting that the U.S. economy remains strong. On another front, the European Central Bank, ECB, has officially announced a rate cut, reducing its main interest rate from 3.5% to 3.25%. This marks the second consecutive meeting where the ECB has lowered rates, a move aimed at bolstering a struggling economy. The reduction widens the gap between the ECB's rates and those of the Federal Reserve. Some observers have pointed out that this economic disparity between Europe and the US may not be as vast as it seems. However, it is essential not to overlook its significance. Current data show that Europe's economic growth lags behind that of the US, while the ECB's lower rates create an interest rate differential that encourages capital to flow towards the higher returns available in the US. This higher interest rate environment typically hinders economic growth. However, the US is currently experiencing growth alongside these higher rates. This situation creates a Matthew effect, where the advantages of growth and high returns accumulate in favor of the US. The Wall Street Journal further highlights that the ECB's primary concern now is stimulating economic growth rather than curbing inflation, marking the first time since 2011 that the ECB has cut rates in consecutive meetings. Europe faces different challenges compared to the US. While American growth remains strong, the Eurozone has struggled after a brief recovery earlier this year. Germany, the Eurozone's largest economy, has seen minimal growth, and forecasts for the coming months are bleak. The Eurozone's Composite Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, recently fell into contraction territory for the first time since February. Factors such as a slowdown in Chinese economic growth, decreased demand from major export markets, and high energy prices resulting from the ongoing war in Ukraine have significantly affected both consumers and businesses in Europe. In September, the overall inflation rate in the Eurozone was recorded at 1.7%, below the ECB's target of 2%. In its statement, the ECB acknowledged that the recent data indicates a positive trend in the slowdown of inflation. However, recent declines in economic activity indicators have also raised concerns about inflation prospects. According to the chief economist at Berenberg Bank, the persistent weakness in economic growth supports the view that the ECB's previous rate hikes to 4% were excessive. Now, there is a risk that, in its quest to lower rates, the ECB could make the opposite mistake by overly loosening its policies. Ultimately, the Eurozone's key challenge remains the need to rekindle growth momentum. The second item I want to share with you is latest updates on the US election. As we gear up for the US election just 3 weeks away, I want to dive into 3 critical updates that could shape the political landscape not just in America but around the world. The outcome of this election is poised to have significant implications for global politics and financial markets alike. My goal here is to offer a balanced perspective for those curious about the real developments surrounding the election, especially given the overwhelming noise of extreme opinions that flood social media platforms. First update, the mysterious $30 million bet on Trump. The first update comes from a Wall Street Journal exclusive titled, "A mystery $30 million wave of pro-Trump bets has moved a popular prediction market." This intriguing report examines how four accounts on the Polymarket betting platform have made massive wagers on Trump's victory. While recent polls show a tight race between Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, with both candidates neck and neck, the betting odds tell a different story, heavily skewed in Trump's favor. Over the past 2 weeks, the likelihood of Trump winning has surged to 62%, while Harris lingers at 38%. Elon Musk recently highlighted this disparity to his enormous following on social media, arguing that the betting market may provide a more accurate gauge of public sentiment than traditional polls. After all, when individuals put their money where their mouth is, it can reveal genuine beliefs and desires. However, we must remember that betting markets have a mixed track record when it comes to predicting election outcomes. For instance, during the 2016 election, betting odds gave Hillary Clinton a staggering 90% chance of winning, yet Trump defied the odds and took the presidency. This history serves as a cautionary tale. While the influx of capital backing Trump suggests strong support, it doesn't guarantee he'll emerge victorious come election day. Second update: increased voter engagement. The second significant update, also reported by the Wall Street Journal, shines a light on a positive trend: increased voter engagement this election cycle. As I talk to friends and acquaintances, many express their concerns and questions about the future of our nation. This shared anxiety reflects a broader sentiment across party lines, with Americans feeling uncertain about what lies ahead. What's particularly encouraging is the rising participation of everyday citizens in the political process, especially through small-dollar donations. In the 2020 election, small contributions soared to over $4 billion, up significantly from $1 billion in 2016, indicating a shift away from corporate-funded campaigns. This election season, both Trump and Harris appear to be softening their previously hardline stances. Trump has been attempting to position himself more moderately, discussing issues like reproductive rights in ways that diverge from his earlier, more conservative views. Meanwhile, Harris has been vocal about her strong stance on border control, making it clear that she does not intend to simply continue Biden's policies. This mutual adjustment in rhetoric signals an effort from both candidates to appeal to a wider audience, which could be pivotal in mobilizing voter turnout. Speaking of turnout, there's considerable anticipation that this year's voting rates could reach historical highs, which bodes well for our democratic process. High engagement levels are crucial as they allow for a more accurate reflection of the electorate's wishes, ensuring that the voices of everyday citizens are heard loud and clear. Third update: The Economist's analysis. Finally, I want to touch on an insightful analysis from The Economist regarding the current state of the election. Their commentary offers a measured perspective that encourages us to look closely at the evolving dynamics. While Harris enjoys strong support in typically Democratic strongholds like Massachusetts and Maryland, her polling numbers in crucial swing states show a concerning gap. This scenario closely resembles the 2016 election, where Hillary Clinton had broad national support but fell short in essential battleground states. The Economist's analysis suggests that as we approach the election, both candidates must zero in on these pivotal battlegrounds. The concern is that Trump could repeat his 2016 performance, losing the national popular vote but winning key states to secure the Electoral College. This raises the stakes considerably for both campaigns and makes the next few weeks incredibly important in determining who will ultimately take the presidency. In summary, as we move closer to this monumental moment in American politics, it's essential to grasp the complexities of these dynamics. Understanding the landscape, the bets being placed, the rise in civic engagement, and the shifting rhetoric will be crucial for anyone looking to make sense of the upcoming election. The stakes are higher than ever, and how this plays out over the next few weeks will undoubtedly shape not just the future of the United States, but also its role on the global stage. Whether you're a casual observer or deeply invested in the political process, staying informed is key as we head into this critical period. Thirdly, in a recent report by Bloomberg, titled "Putin Says His Presence at G20 in Brazil Would Disrupt Summit," Russian President Vladimir Putin has hinted that he may not attend next month's G20 summit in Brazil. He indicated that the arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court, ICC, for war crimes would dominate any discussions during the summit. According to the report, Putin stated, "I understand that even if we exclude the ICC, this will be the only topic if I attend." Our participation would fundamentally disrupt the G20's work. This statement reflects a certain self-awareness from Putin regarding his situation. Given that he is a wanted individual by the ICC, attending the summit in Brazil, an ICC member state, would inevitably shift the international spotlight to the question of whether he might be arrested. This highlights the awkward position he finds himself in, as any presence at the G20 would likely overshadow the meeting's intended discussions with the looming threat of legal consequences. Interestingly, Putin's remarks resonate with a popular sentiment in Chinese internet culture, where one might say, "If I'm not embarrassed, why should you be?" By downplaying his potential embarrassment about the arrest warrant, he seems to deflect any sense of awkwardness onto others. His ability to acknowledge the disruption without displaying any discomfort speaks to his political maneuvering and resilience in facing international scrutiny. 4th U.S. airstrikes targeting Houthi positions in Yemen. According to an Associated Press report, the U.S. military deployed B-2 stealth bombers to target underground bunkers used by Houthi rebels in Yemen earlier today. This marks a significant escalation in the U.S. response to Houthi attacks on Middle Eastern shipping lanes, appearing to send a direct warning to Iran. While the extent of the damage remains unclear, this operation is notable for being the first use of B-2 bombers in combat in years and the first targeting of Yemeni locations by this flight squadron. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin emphasized that this action demonstrates the U.S.'s ability to strike fortified positions, regardless of how deep or hardened they may be. From my perspective, this operation reflects a major shift in U.S. military strategy. Firstly, it indicates that the U.S. is moving from mere warning strikes to outright destructive actions against the Houthis. This isn't just about diminishing their immediate combat capabilities, it aims to dismantle their organizational and logistical infrastructures, sending what could be the most severe warning to the Houthis yet. Additionally, this escalation occurs amidst rising tensions between Israel and Iran. The US seems to be trying to restrain Israel's retaliatory actions against Iran while also signaling to Tehran not to escalate the conflict further. Austin's comments about the strikes serve as a dual warning to Iran to curb its support for the Houthis and to avoid overreacting to Israeli actions. Moreover, the timing of this military engagement raises questions about its potential connection to the upcoming US elections. Increasing military deterrence may be a strategic move to bolster national security credentials, although the Associated Press did not delve into this angle. This could be an interesting point for analysis as we consider the interplay between domestic politics and international military actions. The last thing to share with you is Harvard donations drop amid campus turmoil. A recent report from the Wall Street Journal reveals that donations to Harvard University have declined by nearly 15% over the past year, with some prominent donors ceasing contributions due to the school's handling of anti-Semitism on campus. According to the university's financial statements, as of June 30th, donations totaled $1.17 billion, down from $1.38 billion the previous year. The university's endowment fund donations also fell sharply, dropping 34% to $368 million, despite the fund itself experiencing a 9.6% increase in this fiscal year. This news not only highlights the challenges facing Harvard but also points to broader issues that many prestigious universities in the US are grappling with. Historically, younger generations tend to lean left, but there is a growing perception that university administrations have become increasingly radical. This year, the outbreak of the Gaza conflict has intensified these tensions, making them more visible and contentious within American society. Congress has issued warnings to university leaders, and donors are taking a stand by withholding support, signaling their dissatisfaction. Interestingly, among the Ivy League schools, Princeton appears to be the least affected. The institution has maintained a more centrist approach compared to Harvard's leftward shift. It seems that Harvard's current predicament may serve as a wake-up call for its administration, potentially prompting a reassessment of its policies and values. This could ultimately lead to positive changes in how universities engage with sensitive social issues and respond to donor concerns. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.